Righto, this is going to be our part 2 of our sort of 2-part series of the Weipa town and mine tour. This one's going to revolve all around, I guess, the mining section, and big credit goes to Hardus, the tour guide, who's just incredible. The amount that he knows, the amount that he's sharing with us. Big hats off to him, absolute legend. But also I'm hoping this video comes out on a Friday, our scheduled little time, because we've only just got back from doing the old tele track and sort of the tip of Cape York, the northernmost point of Australia. So look forward to those videos coming soon. But for now, I hope you guys enjoy part 2 of the Weipa town and mine tour, the mining section. Cheers, guys.
Now guys, here at Weipa at our showgrounds we get 3 main events every year. Usually, our first event here every year is our Weipa Fishing Classic. Now guys, that is a great community sports fishing event that draws people from all over Australia to get together here at Weipa for a big weekend of sports fishing. It's got excellent prizes. We're talking about quad bikes, boats, buggies, diamonds. A lot of these prizes sponsored by Rio Tinto. And then our second main event here at Weipa usually is our Weipa bull ride. Now guys, that is more of an event that attracts people from the stations all around Cape York to come together here at Weipa for a big weekend of rodeo riding. And then our last event here at Weipa, guys, that's a bit more of a rough local event. Usually it takes place in November, and that's when all the locals here head out into the scrub to go and see who can catch the biggest wild boar, and that is our Weipa pig hunt. Now guys, where I'm taking you now is the Lorem Point Mine Centre. So this is now where I'm going to sign us in to get access onto the mine properly. You'll notice here on the mine everybody reverse parks. Now the very simple reason for reverse parking is that in case of an emergency you can simply leave facing forward. And then guys, you'll notice that everybody parks between wheel chocks. Now that is called fundamentally stable parking. Now fundamentally stable parking got phased in here a few years ago because what happened is a vehicle rolled in a workshop in a mine, crushed a guy against the wall, giving him some serious injuries. Now you can get away with an incident on a mine, but you can never get away with the same thing happening twice. Benny control, copy?
Benny control, go ahead.
Hey, Benny Control, mine tour bus here. Hey, we're still over here at East Weipa. Just wondering what's happening on the rail dump. I thought I saw something unusual as I was coming over the bridge there. I thought I saw a full rake on the other side.
I think the fellas have got their loco doing some shunting with the empty rake down the other side there. So I've still got one rake dumping, and I think they're just doing some shunting to get another wagon out that they need out of that rake.
Oh, very good. So you've got a rake dumping for us at the moment, have you?
Hey, I certainly have. I've just done 10 cars on that one.
Very good. We'll be heading over that way shortly.
Hey, copy. Thanks.
Benny Control, while I've got you on the channel, can we please have permission to come into the plant area?
Hey, copy that. You'd be right to come in there.
Very good, thanks. We'll let you know when we leave your area.
Copy.
Okay guys, that's good for us. We've got about 20 wagons left on that rake. Let me get through here. We'll go and have a look at these quarries. We'll give you a good understanding of that. Then we'll go out into the plant and go and show you how that all comes together. Controlling it. This girl that I'm taking to on the radio, the Benny controller, she's in fact in a control room in Brisbane. This whole operation is run out of a room in Brisbane. Good afternoon, Sarah. 20 mine tour bus here. I've got 17 on board, and hopefully just have a look at Sea North here before going to the Penny.
Copy that, mate. All clear to come in. Sarah 20.
Okay, guys. So, like I said, we want to go and have a quick look at these quarries. But, guys, you can see these quarries well and truly on your way in and out of Weipa. You find them all along the roads there. You know, you can park up on the side of the road, sit on the roof of your ute and drink a beer while you watch their mining. There's nothing against it. However, you know, it's just going to be a big dusty windblown quarry and haul roads today. Don't want to waste too much of your time with that. What we want to go and do is show you how this plant action works. But here on our left hand side, this is what all these quarries look like, guys. That's Bauxite Mining quarry for you right there on the left hand side. These are very, very simple, guys. You see the ground layer here on the left, the ground floor? That's the ironstone layer. And what you have pushed up here on these big stockpiles, that's bauxite. So that's exactly the same product as what's in our little bag there. You just push it up off the ironstone layer into these large stockpiles. These large stockpiles are now what has to get put through the processing plant to get separated. But it is a very shallow, simple scraping process. First, look at these, even these windrows inside the tires around us. Everything is bauxite. It's as soon as you remove the topsoil here, you've got about 3 meters of it. It is everywhere. Just push it up into these large stockpiles. Now that just simply has to go into the processing plant to go and get separated. But guys, what I'll do is I'll just go up the haul road a little bit, give you a good idea to look back into the C North quarry here. But like I said guys, these quarries are all over the place here. So how the mine works is, of course, it looks like the palm of your hand. You know, you've got these haul roads like what we're on now. And these haul roads connect all these quarries. They're coming into here. They're coming into C North here on our left hand side. There's 11 road trains on the circuit running between C North and Running Creek where we are now. By the way, this is the old PVR. So this road in front of us here, that's the PVR. So that's how you used to drive into Weipa for many, many years. So guys, by now you'll understand how this bauxite mining model works. You know, you've got to open up large areas of land to get to the bauxite layer underneath the trees. It's a thin layer, so therefore you've got to open up large areas of land. To give you an idea how big the operation here in Weipa is, last year they opened 1,160 hectares of forest to get to the bauxite layer underneath the trees. Now guys, 1,160 hectares, that is a large area of land. A decent sized farm actually. But that leads to our 2 key focuses here in Weipa. The first one being regeneration. You know, you open up large areas of land, but that means you regenerate large areas of land. To give you an idea how big the regeneration effort here in Weipa is, last year they had 460 hectares of forest signed off as mature regenerated woodland. Because that's a phenomenal effort. If you think about it in a global scale, if I put it in a global terms for you, if you take all the Rio Tinto mines, we are now talking about the diamond mines in Canada, the gold mines in South Africa, the iron ore mines in Western Australia. You take all the Rio Tinto mines in the world and you add them all together, you will learn that here in Weipa, we're responsible for 33% of the total annual regeneration effort of the mining giant Rio Tinto. Now guys, that's a phenomenal regeneration effort, and that leads to our second key focus here in Weipa, and that is indigenous employment. Guys, here in Weipa we in fact have an Australian leading mine in indigenous employment, and to give you an idea how big that is, here in Weipa 25% or 1 in 4 of the employees is actually Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders, with 14% of those being local Aboriginals of the local Weipa area working on their traditional lease. Now guys, not all of the Aboriginal people up here are interested in working for Rio Tinto as full-time employees, and that's where the seed collecting project comes in. So the seed collecting project is a project in which Rio Tinto supports the local Aboriginal people that are not interested in full-time employment through them, because of course all of this regeneration required native seed. And last year, 200 of the Aboriginal people from Mapu, Nafranam and Arakan registered to become seed collectors, and between them they collected 800 kilograms of eucalyptus seed to sell back to the mine. So guys, they get some pretty good money for this. It's about $1,200 to $1,500 a kilo, depending on what type of eucalyptus they're harvesting. And that's another way in which Rio Tinto supports the Aboriginal groups up here that are not interested in full-time employment through an income via seed collecting. Wow, it's dusty and windy today. But guys, in front of us here, this is the truck dump. Now, these, like I said, I know where there's a truck parked up. I'll go and take you and show you this truck. But these the rail wagons are currently going over the dump bridge. Of course, I don't want to run out of rail feed as well. So I'm going to make sure that we see both. So I don't want to spend too much time here. But I just want to show this to you so that when we're at the rail, you get a better idea of what's actually underneath the ground. So guys, this is one of the 2 take-ups into the plant area, and this is the truck dump. Now, how these truck dumps work is, of course, so guys, that is the best way in which I can park. You're welcome, of course, to move around in the bus if you want to now. But looking at the truck dump over there, what happens is the trucks pull up behind that big steel wall up there. Now when we go to the rail dump, that is going to be where we're going to be parking up. We're going to be parking up behind that big steel wall, looking down into the bins. That is going to be what's underneath the ground at the rail dump. But guys, what it is underneath the main truck dump, you get the large V-shaped bins or hoppers. The bauxite flows into that out of the bottom of the trucks. From the bottom of that, you've got to, of course, get it onto the conveyor belts. And that's why you've got those two large electrical motors on the first level with their backs towards us. Those are called your apron feeders. These apron feeders pick the bauxite out of the big bins and put it onto the conveyor belt. Remember, conveyor belts always run at a constant speed. You never change the speed of conveyor belts. Conveyor belts run at constant speed. What you change is the amount of bauxite that you put on top of your conveyor belt, and that's how you change your speed of your take up into the plant. Now for those of you that are, by the way, I know the truck is still there. For those of you that are familiar with mines as well, you think that nobody's watching you until you drive through a stop sign, and then that's the last mine tour you do. Closer look at this. Now I'll come up nice and close so that you get an idea of the size of the truck when we're next to it, and then we'll park on the right hand side there and take some photos, and I'll tell you how it works. But this is the typical bauxite hauler here in Weipa, guys. So this is the typical truck that runs over that dump bridge behind us, or that we just had a look at. What you have up the front here is a 1000 horsepower V8 Caterpillar drive motor. It uses 140 liters of diesel per hour while it drives out on the mine there. It however pulls that trailer, and that trailer has got 215 tons of bauxite in it when it is full. And that speed limited to 64 kilometers an hour. So they see the speed limited to 64 kilometers an hour, and the reason for that is, of course, the tires. The tires, these tires on these trucks overheat when you run them too far and too fast, and they can explode. The tires themselves are Michelin's. They cost $25,000 each. They're coming out of France at the moment. And guys, if you look at the undercarriage of the back of the trailer there, see it's got two large plates that clamp together. That's how they dump. They are belly dumpers. So they open those two big plates, and the bauxite flows out like sand through the hourglass, and that is what we're going to go look at the rail dump now, because that's how you dump here in Weipa. Now guys, same as most mines in Australia, of course here in Weipa they prefer to have female drivers drive the trucks. They reckon that ladies are a little bit more in tune with the equipment. They don't drive them so hard, and when you get a noise, a wobble or a sound coming out of the truck, ladies are more inclined to pull up, call a fitter and say, hang on, we've got a problem here. Us blokes, apparently we drive these trucks until they stop, and then we just say, mate, she broke down. So guys, there's 3 rakes of carriages, or 3 rakes of wagons. Remember, carriages carry people, wagons carry good. There's 3 rakes of wagons on the line here in Weipa. There's always 1 rake loading, 1 rake unloading, and 1 rake in transit. Now this in front of us is the rake that's unloading. What makes this rake go forward is, see, there's no locomotive attached to the front or the back of the rake. How this rake moves is through this automatic rake pusher here on our left hand side. See this large piston system on our left? They push, pull, and drag the wagons through an automatic unloading process. Now guys, this is the reason why I wanted to take you to that truck dump first, because all of that infrastructure that we were looking at the truck dump is under the ground now. We are now basically parking up at the same height as what we were when we were looking up at the steel wall. We are now on that same steel wall height. Now guys, this is your mine tour. Get up and get involved. Look down into the windows here. You can now gonna see, look at the wagon that's coming over the hole here. You're gonna see very soon, remember there's 100 tons of bauxite in it, and very soon you're gonna see 100 tons of bauxite coming out from the bottom of this wagon, splat down into the hole, and you'll be surprised at how fast 100 tons of bauxite falls out of the underneath carriages. Okay guys, if you want to record it, hit record now, because here she comes. That was 100 tons gone. What? Yep, 100 tons. remember the whole underside of the wagon opens up and the whole wagon goes shoof, and down there you can now see the apron feeder picking it up, putting it on the conveyor system underneath us. Now guys, 100 tons of bauxite every time one of these open and fall out. Now what opens and closes the undercarriages of the underside of these wagons is air pressure in this application. You can see halfway down the wagon there, you can see on that one it looks like 18 and something. There's two steel lines going into the side of the wagon. You can see here on this one coming up as well. Now guys, that's where the air piston sits. It uses air pressure to open and close the underside of this wagon because it's final product. What you see down in the hole there, that is final product. It's already been washed out at the Hardus mine. And if you use hydraulics and you get a leak, you'll contaminate your final product. However, if you get an air leak, you just tweak it back up and voila, no problem at all. Cleaning control, copy.
Control, go ahead.
Hi control, mine tour bus here. We're just wondering if the rail, oh no, there she goes. Sorry to bother. It just had a little hiccup here, but the train's off again.
Hey, yeah, it was just pausing there. It was changing from the first rate mover to the second rate mover, so it just pauses a little bit in the middle there.
Very good, thanks. We weren't sure if we have to move on, but everybody's enjoying it. We'll stay for a bit.
Hey, good to hear.
Yeah, she's in Brisbane. So yeah, this is all controlled out of Brisbane, guys. This lady's in a control room in Brisbane. Satellite radio up the front here. That's how you talk on the radio now. It's satellite. But okay, so 100 tons of bauxite. That's what we see falling into the holes here at a time. 100 tons of bauxite gets turned into 50 tons of alumina. 50 tons of alumina gets smelted into 25 tons of aluminium. So it's a quarter recovery into aluminium. Now, every time we're dumping, therefore we're dumping 25 tons of pure aluminium. Because 25 tons of pure aluminium, that means nothing to any of us. 25 tons of aluminium. Let's go beer drinkers first, or Sprite drinkers, depending on what you prefer. Now, every time one of these wagons dump, they dump 1.87 million Sprite cans or beer cans. No, how it works is the average can weighs 12.5 grams, and it's just maths. But remember, underneath us now is this large tunnel conveyor and hopper system, and where it comes out of the ground is here on our left hand side onto C2. Now guys, I'll give you a little bit of sound effect here, but don't get out. You can take photos in front of the door though. But there you can see the bauxite going out. You can see the bauxite going up onto the conveyors, and this is now that's actually going out onto the stockpiles. Because that there is the product that gets exported and sent out to Gladstone or China, wherever it's going. Now to get that into alumina, you've got to turn it, you've got to put it to two processes. The first process is called the biochemical process. And in the biochemical process, you take that bauxite there and you mix it with caustic under high pressure and temperature and turn it into a big hydration. This hydration then goes through the next process, which is electrolytic, and it's called the Hale-Helu electrolytic process. So through electrolysis, you subtract a material called alumina out of this caustic hydration, and this alumina is then what you smelt into aluminium. Here on our left hand, so if you take a double cab Hilux ute like that one on our right hand corner there, and you park it behind one of those 215 ton dump trucks, the result is here on the left front corner, a very flat one. Yeah, that's one of the big hazards here, guys. It's called HME interaction, light mobile equipment interacting with heavy equipment. When you're in those big trucks, you just can't see what's going on around you, and light vehicles can get very seriously damaged. Of course, a big hazard, you always have to keep them separated. Here on the left is the stockpiles. Now guys, what you're looking at here on the left hand side, so this is all the fine little pebbles that have now been cleanly washed, ready to be exported. So the plant is very simple. You see the dirt that we saw on those big stockpiles out there in the field? That gets belly dumped by those trucks into the hoppers. Conveyors pick it up, the conveyors bring it into the plant. The plant divides it into three. Oversize, reject oversize there. Tailings onto the tailings dams, and pisolites, pebbles out here onto the left. Now that's what you export here. Now guys, you've got to of course reclaim this to get it onto the vessels. Now if you think of reclaiming in the iron ore and coal industry, you'll think of these big bucket wheels that come up and down the stockpiles, reclaiming them, putting it on conveyors, and off it goes again. But you don't see any reclaimers here in Weipa, you just see stackers. So how do you reclaim this material? Well guys, you reclaim through underground feeds. So this on our left hand side is not the final ground level at all. Underneath these stockpiles, you've got a big network of conveyors and tunnels. How it works is you open up the open feeders that sit above these conveyors, between the conveyors and the stockpiles. You open up the open feeders. The bauxite flows, goes down the feeders till it hits the angle of repose where it stops running under its own gravity. When it gets to that angle, you use these big D11 bulldozers to push it into the mouths of the open feeders, and that's how you keep your ship loading supply running. So that's how you load them. You load through subterranean conveyors and tunnels, and that's what this little hut here on our left hand side is that says S1. Well, that's your ship loading one conveyor tunnel. That's where you go down under the ground to access that network. Now guys, of course I want you to be able to see it there. So there you have the stacker. Now guys, this is a of course it looks like it's a very noisy industrial setup here, but have a listen to this. Very, very quiet. Even if the Benny plant is running, guys, it's a very quiet operation here. It's no big sound hazards or anything like that. There's two anchoring grounds out here in Weipa. There's anchoring ground Alpha and anchoring ground Bravo out in Albatross Bay, and there's usually at least 4 vessels per anchoring ground waiting to get into the port of Weipa here to take on their bauxite. So there's usually about 8 vessels waiting, not like further down south or off Newcastle where you get 50, 60, 80 up to 100 vessels waiting. So guys, just through the trees here on our left hand side, we actually have a 1.25 megawatt solar farm. This solar farm is pump connected directly to the mining grid here in Weipa, and since it came along, we now use 600,000 litres of diesel less per year at our diesel-fired power station here in Weipa, because it is being supported by this solar. The solar is in fact so effective that it is being earmarked for an upgrade to a 3 megawatt solar farm later on in this year. Indicator of a very healthy global growth that we are sending so much aluminium out of Weipa. It goes into the aerospace industry, it goes into shipping, it goes into construction materials, it clads your caravans. Guys, a very good indicator of a healthy global growth. And then I know Cape York is not an easy destination to take on, guys. You know, you require a traveller with a certain amount of spirit and enthusiasm to want to take on Cape York. And then of those, only a small amount of travellers actually have the added curiosity to come and see what we live like here in Weipa. And guys, that included every one of you. So on behalf of the community of Weipa and the Weipa Mine and Town Tours, I want to thank you guys very much for the effort that you have put in to come and visit us here in Weipa, spend your time and money in our community. It really does go a long way. And guys, you also now know what these little pisolites or pebbles look like. Now, every year a few tourists get unstuck on the roads around Weipa here. Guys, don't let it be you. Travel safely, get to your next destination in one piece. Enjoy your holidays up here in Cape York. Enjoy the sunset over Albatross Bay if we're going to have one tonight. And then guys, thanks for coming with me this afternoon. It was great taking you guys around my hometown and our local mine, giving you guys as much information as I possibly could in the time we are together.
Thank you very much.
No, very good, lovely having you on board, guys.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. An absolutely incredible day, incredible tour that Hardus put on for us there, the Weipa Mine and Town tour, and I literally ran out of memory card space from the little GoPro that day, just at the end there. So it sort of worked out all right, but I didn't really get an ending. And well, sitting down here, editing the movie and having a little fish, it sort of turned out all right. But I want to give a big thanks to Hardus and the tour. Check out their link below. I mean, absolutely incredible tour. Can't say enough about it. But if you ever do make it up to Weipa, definitely 100% do this tour, because I've cut a lot of this video out and there's so much more to see in that tour. It's just full on. It's a full on tour, and it's incredible. For 40 bucks, 45 bucks I think it was each, money worth it. But anyway guys, that's going to do us until the next one, which is going to be the Cape York to the tip trip, I guess, old telly track. But yeah, thanks for watching. Check out their link, the Weipa Mine and Town Tour, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers for watching.